Welcome back, everyone. We haven't posted in a couple days of when we're supposed to, and it's mainly my fault. I was away for a little bit, and we had recorded. And
we pre-recorded the last few, thinking it was going to be enough.
Yeah.
And then Brian miscalculated, but it's no big deal. I'm sure you guys didn't miss us.
and if you did, make sure to like and
missed you too.
subscribe to this and our vlog channel. But all right, so this is episode 236.
Let's go.
Okay, so we hope you all have been doing well. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen you guys. So today we're going to do teaching in the U.S. versus the rest of the world. Let's see how this is.
This is Anna. She just graduated from college in the United States. And this is Sophia. She also just graduated from college in Finland. Anna and Sophia both want to be middle school teachers, but it turns out there's a good chance their experiences will be very different. So different that Anna is twice as likely as Sophia to leave teaching for good. That's causing a problem. The supply of new certified teachers in the United States is shrinking.
Damn. Yeah, and this was 4 years ago, and I think it's gotten
way worse.
Yeah, way worse. But I noticed they do always lean to Finland. I guess that was the best maybe, but remember in the video we did and some of the comments were saying it's not the same anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure it's still way better than here, but yeah.
It still sucks that such a valuable job is not taken as seriously.
It really is an extremely valuable job. Yeah.
The number of public school students keeps growing.
Damn.
Massive teacher shortages.
Warnings about teacher turnover.
Educators call Colorado's teacher shortage a crisis.
So what makes Sophia stay and Anna leave? And how can the United States keep more of its teachers in the classroom?
Money.
In the U.S., teachers work about 9.25 hours a day. That's an hour and a half longer than the average for teachers in other countries in the Organization for Economic Development, or OECD for short. That's a group of mostly wealthy countries that economists often compare to one another. Teachers in the U.S. work more than 2.5 hours longer than their colleagues in South Korea, Finland, and Israel. There are some countries with similar teacher work hours to the United States, like New Zealand, Singapore, and the UK. Teachers in Japan, for example, work nearly 2 hours more per day than teachers in the US. But in all of these countries, teaching hours are much lower. Of the 9.25 hours that American teachers work every day, they spend about 5.5 of those hours actually teaching. That's more than the OECD average, and significantly more than teachers in New Zealand, the UK, South Korea, Japan, and Singapore. Teachers in these countries get more time for planning, grading, and collaborating with each other. So do all those extra teaching hours translate to better results? Students in the US score slightly above the OECD average on the PISA exam, which tests 15-year-olds all over the world in reading, science, and math. But they score lower than students in countries like Finland, South Korea, Japan, and Singapore, where teaching hours are much lower. If we look inside Anna and Sophia's classrooms in the US and Finland, we'd see Anna teaching an hour and a half more per day than Sophia. Anna also spends more time planning lessons, grading student work, and leading extracurricular activities.
Well, there's probably the feeling of, I'm sure, her brother's a teacher, and, I mean, he probably tells you sometimes that it can be stressful and stuff like that.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
He loves his job, but he does always talk about, he laughs at the budget they give them per quarter. It's laughable.
And then sometimes
it's not even enough to sometimes print out homework for kids.
Didn't he have to come out of his pocket sometimes to cover some of the stuff?
Yeah, he's always paying out of his own pocket to cover costs that the district isn't covering.
That's crazy to me.
And they word things to make it sound like you don't have to use your money, but we're not giving you enough. Pretty much. They say in other terms that make it seem like it's a choice if you spend your own money, when really you can't do most of your job unless you fund some of it yourself.
That's crazy to me.
And I would argue he spends more than 9 hours a day working. I know not all of it is technically teaching, because the breaks and then
planning and other stuff.
Before, he gets there earlier. Obviously, he stays later. You're grading papers and all that stuff. You're planning lessons. Like, I would argue he spends at least like 11 hours a day working. And
That's
then
wild.
not to mention if there's like meetings. He has meetings with his colleagues and conferences, back to school. Like, if you add up all that, it definitely is more than 9 hours a day.
Yeah.
And they do not get paid enough. He has a master's, and I'm pretty sure I know his salary from the last time he told me, and it's kind of sad. It's enough to like get by, but it's not enough to justify the amount of work he puts in. So I can't imagine other teachers.
Yeah.
Those extra hours aren't necessarily
And classrooms are overpacked too, like 30 plus kids.
It's probably, and it's just
crazy.
getting bigger probably.
I remember when we were kids, 25 was like the max they would even consider having in a class.
Yeah, that's a lot of kids that have to.
Because there's
Yeah.
shortages. And I have heard that in other sides of the country, you don't have to go through as much schooling to become a teacher as like California.
But they're starting to lower the amount you need of
Yeah.
schooling.
Which well, it depends where. The country's huge, obviously.
Yeah.
did in Anna's paycheck. If you compare Sophia to other people in Finland with college degrees, she makes about 98 cents for every dollar that they make. That's on par with the pay ratio between teachers and college graduates in similar countries. But Anna and other American middle school teachers only make about 65 cents for every dollar that their college-educated peers make.
That's crazy.
Still, as politicians in the US never tire of pointing out, we spend
more per student than almost
Any country, I think.
than nearly every other country in the developed world.
but that figure varies a lot by state. New York spends twice as much as California on each student. Mississippi spends less than half as much as Alaska. And American schools generally spend a lot more on security and other non-instructional costs than schools in other countries. Plus, if you look at the share of its
I
national
wonder why.
School shootings.
wealth or GDP that each country spends on education, you can see there are plenty of countries spending a bigger share than the US. There's one other difference between Anna and Sophia. When they're asked whether people in their country value teachers, 2 out of 3 Finnish teachers say yes, but just 1 in 3 American teachers agree. There are a lot of reasons why teachers like Anna leave the classroom. But if the US wants to keep more of them around, we might want to take a few pages from Finland's book.
Yeah. I mean, we need to value teachers a lot more because they're shaping the minds of the kids that are going to be, running the country, not running the country, but like, I don't know, you know what
The
I mean?
next generation, yeah. They're going to be the ones taking care of the older generation and so on.
Yeah, like the same thing you said. America spends more on security than other countries. Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah. I vividly remember the teachers that hated their jobs when I was in high school and elementary school. And as an adult, I can see why. But I remember experiencing and living it and just feeling like they just hated us when really they probably just hated their jobs.
Yeah, they were just over it probably because they weren't getting paid enough.
And they're dealing with annoying ass kids all day because parents nowadays, God, I sound like a boomer, but yeah, like I would say it's rare to see parents parent.
A lot of it now, I think also parents are like more they're more involved, but not in a good way. Like
they're not more
no,
involved.
I'm saying that like they scrutinize the teacher more because they're afraid.
They don't want to parent.
No.
So they blame anything that their kid does wrong on the teacher.
No, I know, but I'm also saying with so much of the fucking like propaganda and stuff online about like they're trying to like transgender our kids and all this other stuff.
Oh yeah.
You have a lot of teachers who are like I need to make sure my teacher's not doing that and all that stuff. Like, so they get super.
Parents are under this illusion that all teachers have added teaching trans rights
And genders and all that
gender
stuff.
identity to like second graders, which is false. If anyone's doing that, it's because they are willingly doing that against
The code or whatever they're supposed to be doing.
well,
like
yeah,
the school code.
against
I get what you're saying, like
not
the
the
curriculum or
academics,
whatever.
curriculum, yeah. That's not something that's being enforced anywhere at all.
Yeah. Yep. I also think those are just the things the trigger things they use on social media to get people mad and to get people on a side. But yeah, I don't know. All right, and the election's coming up too. It's another thing over here.
I know.
I'm kind of stressed out about it.
It's definitely something you can feel in the air. People are getting super tense out here, especially after those 2 hurricanes just hit the East Coast.
Yeah, and it's like one of those
Helene
things.
and Milton.
I hate that. Like, I just hate that how much what do you call it? Like slander or like misinformation we get here, because like you have like the right side was trying to, and I think both sides lie about stuff sometimes, but the right side likes to like trigger. And so they were like, look at the Democrats are like they're misusing the FEMA funds on migrants, and they're only giving the people in North Carolina $750. And then if you really
they say things with conviction. They don't.
Yeah, because it's not illegal to lie.
Which is crazy. You should not be able to lie to
the people
as a politician.
Yeah, but they were saying like, oh, only $750. And if you go and like fact check it, $750 is just initial payment, and then you can apply for a bunch more funds. But it's like,
at the end of the day, we need politicians that take global warming seriously.
We just need politicians who fucking aren't fucking just like bashing each other and actually are talking about policies and trying to make things move forward.
Imagine that.
Yeah. I will say the Waltz. Did you watch the Waltz and Vance debate?
I saw clips of it. I didn't sit down and watch it.
It was actually professional.
That's good.
Yeah, it felt different. Or like those two should be
Donald
running
Trump
for president.
there.
I don't think Kamala is not really unprofessional. She doesn't really like.
I think she connects well. Do I think she's perfect? No. I think she connects well with
her audience, or whoever she's trying to
just
get an
anyone
audience
around her.
Yeah,
she knows how to connect and feel like you're talking to a human and not you're talking to some character.
Yeah, but yeah. All right. Well,
thanks for watching, and pray for us.
And all right, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.